Eric Wise could have been previously associated with a cult. Even from his first video, you can see that he has some shady dealings going on that most people, being the unintelligent dogs they are, wouldn't notice. Luckily, instead of just relying on Eric to pull your leash forward, I'm here to help talk about and analyze what Obey the Walrus actually is, instead of what people like Eric want you to believe it is. This is Eric's youngest work, and much before me and him were in contact about Holy Blue in the first place, which will provide a glimpse into how he used to be, and even then, it really is not a good look.
Obey the Walrus. It sounds like a silly name, but it's actually pretty unnerving. Obey the Walrus is one of those videos that could either scare you out of your mind, or just give you a good laugh.
This is the start of many times where Eric starts downplaying the issue before even explaining what it is to the uneducated. He's ripening you up to the idea this is all a joke, and it doesn't need to be taken seriously. A very simplistic form of propaganda, and yet a very effective way of telling simplistic people how to think. And sadly, it's worked very well.
But what exactly is Obey the Walrus? The earliest upload of this video that I was able to find was uploaded in 2008.
Even if this wasn't blatant false pandering and a malicious lie, this would have been one of the most uninformed things I would have seen in a long while. You're looking for an unknown, probably vicious piece of media, and not only is your first idea not to check the deep web, your only idea is to check YouTube. This would honestly be embarrassing for someone trying to explain anything in this genre. But it won't be for you, since it was intentional. I'll take this moment to point out that nobody involved with Scaretheater has seemingly noticed this flaw, let alone that it was an intentional flaw, and that speaks volumes about how bright these people are. Why do the seemingly least intelligent people possible get involved in things gained for their betters is a mystery that continues to amaze.
Obey the Walrus starts off with Andros from Star Fox singing a distorted version of the Itsy Bitsy Spider. It then transitions from a bunch of trippy, hallucinogenic colors to a video of an anorexic transvestite tap dancing and moving around in a weird manner, all while the distorted Itsy Bitsy Spider music continues to play. The video ends with him, or her I guess, walking slowly towards the camera, and then we're met with a walrus. Some people are terrified by the video, and some of them just find it hilarious. Others think that it's just sad. Creepy or not, it's definitely gained a lot of attention. The 2012 upload has over 1 million views, and a lot of people have been making reaction videos about it. There are even a bunch of parodies of the video. In addition to this, the video has been talked about on several popular websites, including Know Your Meme and the Creepypasta Wiki.
Classic case of defaming an argument before you even say it. He shows people that make light of this issue through ignorance or maliciousness, then proceeds to show completely user-made and user-edited wikis from the very same bunch of people who make light of it. Eric's job is to convince you that nothing is wrong and it's all not real, since both he and other people seem to think that way. He is pressuring people into specific mindsets and realities that never get farther than the YouTube video. He is monetizing your ignorance, and you lap it up like the word of a prophet. This is where an inferior person would connect to being a cultist back at the start. After all, with the idolization the unintelligent seem to show him, it wouldn't be that far from the truth. But since I'm me, I've got much more than just a metaphor for a metaphysical cult. Eric Wise's deeds don't stop where you want them to.
But perhaps one of the most interesting things about the video is the description. In the description, it says that the video was created by a Latin American cult by the name of La Morsa, which means the walrus in Spanish. Apparently bad things are supposed to happen after watching it. Some people even say the video has subliminal messages in it. But how much of this is actually true? Sadly, none of it.
Here it is, Eric Wise coming out and saying what he's been conveying to you silently throughout the whole video. Everything has been leading up to this, except he still hasn't given an argument for why it'd be real or fake in the first place. Do I really need to explain the concept of bias here? It's not even a subtle move like the previous ones would be to the uninformed. It's the first time he's just coming out and saying it, and that leads to a change in the rest of the video, as well as a drastic discovery.
The person in the video is a film actor named Johnny Bama, although his stage name is the Goddess Bunny? He was actually nominated for the India Catalina Award for his independent film, The Goddess Bunny, which is a biography of his life, released in 1998. The reason for his strange appearance is because he suffered from polio since he was young. Speaking of his childhood, he dealt with a lot of sexual abuse as a child, and when he became an adult, he decided that he wanted to become a drag queen, and he changed his name to Sandy Crisp. He actually had a pretty successful career, believe it or not, and he even did some modeling, believe it or not. Yeah, I know you guys are all turned on by this.
By this point, it's obvious that Eric Wise is transphobic beyond measure. While it doesn't ultimately matter for the sake of this video, I'm still going to be slightly covering it, just to point out one of the many problems fading Eric. Eric is constantly referring to her by he instead of their correct pronoun, not to mention saying the correct one once before instantly going back to he. He then proceeded to body shame her and put up naked photos of her on the screen for millions of people to see, and talk about her sexual abuse and all the problems she's went through like he fully understands them and that he has full authority on them because he read about it in some Wikipedia article. It's obvious that this was a sick segment that he only added to instill hate towards this person, especially since we've seen him talk in such a positive manner towards people who seemingly mock her.
And then in mid-2007, Obey the Walrus went viral and began spreading along with all of its rumors.
This was Eric Wise's most fatal flaw, and quite literally recontextualizes the entire video as well as his entire career on this platform. He claims to have known about the Obey the Walrus video in 2007, despite earlier stating the earliest that he could find the video was 2008. This leaves us with one of two options. Either he looked elsewhere from YouTube and found one that goes back further and neglected to mention it, proving that it's real, or he's intentionally trying to mislead people from this story so they don't actually discover what was left here, once again proving that it's real. Either way, Eric Wise would be intentionally misleading and attempting to manipulate all of us. All the errors and flaws in this video alone leads to a more solid conclusion in the latter. Despite not being the brightest person himself, as you can tell with how badly he messed up here, he knows that the majority of people into these types of mysteries are people even worse off than him intellectually. He figured he could get away with saying everything was wrong because he couldn't find an older version on YouTube, constantly instilling doubt into the watcher. It worked as well. Eric Wise was completely correct. No one questioned it, and instead they praised him like a god for finding them a funny video, laughing at the suffering a cult has caused. A cult that Eric protects. A cult that Eric is most likely a part of to go this far for. But this isn't the finale, nor is it the end of Eric's attempts to explain and talk down these deeds as mere falsehoods.
The video is actually just some clips taken out of Johnny Bama's movie, The Goddess Bunny, and edited to be all scary. And it worked! I mean, why exactly do we find this scary though? I think one of the translated sections from a Wikipedia article explains this perfectly. It says, "What causes fear from this video is a natural reaction of a psychological nature that has nothing to do with demons and subliminal messages, let alone satanic organizations. It is due to mental conditioning to various factors such as deformity, transsexualism, the colors, the dance that we can see as distressing, and this is accompanied by sound that the brain has trouble processing. It provokes a reaction of terror that in extreme cases causes dizziness, vomiting, and some other physical reactions, or on the contrary, happiness, laughter, and tears. It all depends on the reaction of your mind to what you see." And as for the cult La Morsa, I spent a long time on Google trying to see if I could find anything about a real cult with the name La Morsa, and I couldn't find anything at all. So the cult doesn't even exist.
Yes, his real response to a literal cult is, "I googled it, couldn't find it, so it doesn't even exist." Nobody thought to stop and think about how a group dedicated to making videos that hurt people might not have that big of an online presence. But it seems not. Eric is catering perfectly to his audience, and the audience of things like Obey the Walrus in general. Unintelligent husks of humans who aren't even able to bark without somebody telling them to. People who desire nothing more than entertainment from the suffering of others. Something I alone seem to be trying to change with my audience. But depending how many unintelligent, near uncohesive comments I got on my previous video talking about the future regarding Eric Wise and Holly Blue, it doesn't seem to be working out too well yet. But I can only hope. I can only strive for the betterment of people like that, since they obviously don't have the capabilities to do it for themselves.
Now, why would the person choose a walrus out of all things? Who knows? Personally, I would choose a seal, but I guess it's just preference. So there's nothing supernatural about Obey the Walrus. It wasn't made by any cult and there's no subliminal messages in it. It's just a creepy video made using some clips from the movie The Goddess Bunny. Did this make the video any less scary? Not really. But at least you know more about the video and its origins. And for the record, I cannot play Star Fox anymore. Hey guys, hopefully you like that little analysis of Obey the Walrus. I left all the resources that I got my information from in the description below, so you can check those out to do some investigating of your own. If you like videos like this, you can leave in the comments some other videos that you want me to analyze in the future. And also, if you like videos like this, or just creepy videos in general, feel free to subscribe, because not only will I do future analysis videos, but I'll just be posting a bunch of creepy stuff in general. So if that interests you, then just subscribe to the channel, feel free, and thank you for watching.
Well, that seemed that the first video Eric Wise has made out of hundreds. And with just this alone, it's absolutely astounding that he's been able to make a career with the sheer amount I've discovered in just this one video. It will be interesting to watch Eric's transformation from a dullard flunky trying to misdirect people from the truth for whatever nefarious reasons he has at the time, to a pawn for the government. So we'll have to continue this series, with the next one being Top 10 Unique Creepypastas, though I don't particularly know if any of the ones he includes could be considered creepypastas, since they'd have to be fake, and so far Eric's track record for being correct on something being fake is 0 to 1. I don't really know what would come from that anyways, but I'll at least try, especially with all the context of this video added. I'm sure with Eric's level of wit, he'll leave an accidental trail or two anyways. Goodbye.